Hey guys, welcome back. Just got the big girl behind me, got the bonnet up, trying to chase down some light bar dramas. So I've been meaning to do this video for quite some time now, ever since I sort of got confirmation of it, but I thought I'd just let the dust settle first before we really cracked into it. The new dated 2024 Y62. A lot of people have some mixed feelings on it, which is probably fair enough. Thought we'll go through them today and sort of try and figure out the reasoning behind it. So, as we're aware, the new 2024 patrols are getting a new updated infotainment system, which the community has been crying out for years really, and now it's finally happened. And of course people aren't happy with it. I say it every time. I mean, a manufacturer can produce something and there'll be always somebody who won't be happy with it. And it's fair enough, they sort of took away a few features of the car that were actually really handy, you know, being the 360 camera, the off-road camera mode, you know, proper aircon controls in the back, a few things like that, which just doesn't make sense to get rid of, or why they even had to in the beginning. A bit weird, especially when you pay more for the car. So it's a 10.1 inch screen. The whole system itself actually looks quite good, I think, and is certainly a big improvement over what's already in there. So obviously it's got your Apple CarPlay and your Android Auto, which people have been wanting for ages, and seems to work good in the car. I haven't personally tested it, but just from things I've seen it looks good, and it's certainly on the right track. It's just a shame that they got rid of a few features to include the new system. So you get DAB, digital radio, iGo street navigation system, and also including a 1 month HEMA map subscription, which is pretty cool because HEMA Maps is great, but I mean just 1 month, that's a bit rough. 6 months probably would have been a bit nicer. Get people, you know, good taste of it, because I doubt somebody's going to use it within that month. So a bit longer probably would have been a bit better, but anyway, is what it is. But it's pretty cool that it's already got a HEMA Maps app on it, you know, ready for you to use if you do wish, especially for driving on tracks that aren't really well marked on traditional maps. HEMA certainly comes into their own. A lot of the off-grid places HEMA's mapped, so yeah, super handy to have that. But I mean, yeah, a month is a bit shoddy if you ask me. So you get some wireless smartphone charging, as well as a USB-C port, which a lot of newer phones are going towards these days. So it's nice to have them couple of little features in there as well. So apart from that, they've sort of just upgraded the TI to the TIL spec with the cooler box, the rear view camera in the actual rear vision mirror. It's got a wide angle rear view camera, sort of to make up for the 360 degree being gone. I mean, these things are good, but that 360, a lot of people really liked it, me included. I love the 360 degree camera. It's super handy for parking, because I mean, they're a wide car, and to see, you know, to make sure that you're in the lines nice and square and not, you know, hanging out one side is super handy, because the typical vision outside of the car when you're trying to park is quite limited. Even when you're four-wheel driving, it's hard to see over that bonnet if you're going down something or up something and you need to get your tyre placement right. That's where that off-road camera view really comes into its own. You can switch that on and you can see where your wheels are, and you know, if there's potholes and stuff like that, I mean, you can't see otherwise until you're in them. So having that's super handy. So it's a real shame that they did lose it. You know, for these extra few upgrades, it just doesn't really make sense. So that's a real shame. So the speakers have also been upgraded to Infinity ones. Not the Infinity Nissan luxury brand, but the brand Infinity. I would assume they're probably good. Never heard of Infinity speakers before, so let me know if you got a new 2024 Patrol. How does the sound quality? Is it good? I'd like to think so. Especially, you know, when you pay a bit more of a higher price, you'd want it to be good. So it's a $3,000 price increase for all of this, and a lot of people were pretty upset about that, you know, because they've already ordered a Patrol and now they've got to pay an extra $3,000 on top of it, which is pretty crap, really. You know, if you've already got an order in, Nissan should honour that and leave it at the same price. Of course they're going to lose some money there, but for all new orders, sure, put it on, because I mean, they're obviously spending the money to do all these upgrades. Pretty crap that they went to a sliding little mechanism for the aircon controls in the rear. Leaving it as the buttons should have been fine. I don't know why they had to change that. It doesn't really make much sense, but anyway, they've done it, so it is what it is. So that was, yeah, a little bit crap to see. I don't know why they did that. It's like a 200 series in the back now. Yeah, it didn't seem too smart, but anyway, it's an extra $3 grand. Well, I mean, you'd spend that on a new infotainment system anyway, and you wouldn't get all that stuff within the car. Of course, you'd retain your 360-degree camera, which is a bonus. Look, I'm sure as time goes on, somebody will figure out how to take one of the new infotainment systems and put it into a older Patrol and make it all work. I'm sure, you know, just the signal plug from the cameras going into the actual infotainment system itself, I'm sure you can just plug it all up as factory from, you know, a 2022 or 2023 Patrol and just have it work. I'm sure it probably would. I doubt there'd be, you know, something in the software that would only allow so many cameras. I'm sure somebody would be able to figure that out and fit one of these screens into an older Patrol and have it all work. I'm sure that'll be a thing eventually. If somebody does want to have, you know, an OEM factory sort of option put into their Patrol that doesn't have it, I'm sure it'll be a thing. It'd have to be. The company that's making the screens is an Australian company, and they do a lot of different stuff for manufacturers, which is really good to see. At least they're using an Australian company to do it, which is a massive plus. So any, you know, after sales support and stuff like that should be fairly easy to get onto. Now, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing that they've upgraded the Patrol, you know, right at the end? A lot of people have sort of really delved into it and you know, put their own spin on how it's such a bad thing. I don't think it is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. It'll get people into the cars who were maybe on the fence about it just because of the, you know, the technology within the car. Like I said, it's another $3 and you get a lot more included in the vehicle. Whereas if you spent the $3 and you just got a standalone system, but of course you just don't get the 360-degree cameras. I think that's the real only downside that I can see is the cameras, because the cameras are super handy to have. So I think that's really the only downside, but I'm sure someone could figure out how to, you know, even put a camera system out of an older Patrol into the newer one and have it work somehow. I'm sure, you know, people will muck around with it eventually and get it to work how they want it. I mean, that's the beauty of modifying cars. I'm sure somebody smart enough out there will sort it out. So that'd be also really good to see. I think also it's probably a way of Nissan, you know, helping get rid of a heap of stock of the cars and a final sort of influx of money to go towards the new launch of the 63. I think that's probably what it's all about. And because I mean, it's a pretty weird move to do it right at the end of its life cycle where it's pretty much done, and then they go and introduce a new system. Bit weird to do, but obviously there's a lot of, you know, marketing sense behind it and that sort of thing. I mean, it'd be great for the company, and people overall I think will be happy with it. All in all, I don't think it's a bad thing. Yeah, you lose some features, but you gain some as well, which makes the car, you know, I don't know, a bit more on par of what it should have been from the beginning, I think. Now, I've got a couple of people asking me to take the Patrol out, do some forward driving now that it's got its lift in, and I can't say no to that. A couple of weeks ago I was out there and did a bit of forward driving, and it made a huge difference with the lift. So maybe tomorrow I might be able to get out and do some forward driving and a bit of testing and filming and stuff, so that'll be really good. But there will be a video on that coming up in the near future. If anyone does want one of these bonnet UHF aerial brackets, do let me know. This one is available, going cheap. If you want it, contact me on Instagram and we'll sort it out. I'll get that shipped over to you wherever you may be. Obviously you can see it's good condition as it would be. I've just painted mine black, a bit of the paint's coming off, but if you want it painted black I'll redo the paint. If not, I won't worry about it. So if someone does want that for their patrol, let me know and I'll shoot it off to you. Because obviously I've got the UHF mounted on the bull bar now, which is a much better spot, I think. Looks good there, and like we sort of discussed, can help with the radio frequency range as well. Been pretty busy doing a few little bits and pieces for the patrol, mainly battery related 12 volt stuff. Been mucking around with one of these by more 4x4, the sort of fuse holder thing that's going over the battery. Got my MIDI fuses there with an isolator as well, and I've got to run all that power wire back to the back of the car. If anyone does want to know anything a bit more about this, where I got these MIDI fuse holders from, or anything about that, I can do a bit more of an in-depth video on all of this and how I've done it. But do let me know if you want to see something like that. Obviously got some nice braided cable sleeving over the cables as well, just to make it a bit nicer and give it a bit more protection, especially under the bonnet, of course, is quite important. So that'll wrap up today's video. Do let me know down below, what do you think of the new inclusions for the 2024 patrols? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think Nissan sort of missed the mark there? Or do you think that they've sort of done what the community wanted, but just didn't quite get over the line there with the 360-degree cameras? Be interested to know. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching. It's much appreciated. Do stay tuned, because that four-wheel driving video will be out probably next week, I would think, if I can get out there tomorrow. So until next time guys, I will see you all later on.